West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's 7 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show. News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. We're doing a live broadcast today.
Yes.
Here at the IHOP off of I-25 and 104th. Our friends are swinging by. Barb Kirkmeyer is going to be here in a little bit. Hugo Chavez-Ray coming by.
Oh, Hugo!
Hugo's going to be here.
Hey, I can't wait to see Hugo.
He and Bill are going to throw down. And here's...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
okay.
no, not yet.
Last
Are you
time...
going to eat your bananas Foster, or am I going to have to eat that too? I'm just asking.
Well, I'm going to eat some.
Or we're going to throw it to your son.
But the guy sitting next to me just finished working out. And so
Good.
he actually is going to feel less guilty about it.
No, taunt him with it. Say, look, what do we get?
I know.
This is good.
He went and worked. Will you turn Dan's mic up there real quick?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Sorry.
Sir.
I turned.
All right.
Yeah, turn everybody off during the break.
To the right of me is Dan Woog, state representative. Dan, tell me about your district while I take some bites.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful morning. I'm in House District 19, and that covers a little bit of Longmont, just the eastern side, and then it's all of Firestone, Frederick, Dacono, and Erie, and it's a split. It's in Weld County and Boulder County, so it's a very
a little bit of
split
Boulder
district.
County, huh?
Oh, yeah, I got plenty of Boulder County.
And you were one that won, then lost, and then won again.
Yeah, so
Tell us a little bit about your political journey.
Yeah, I started as a town trustee in Erie, and then I ran for House District 63. And I won that district, and that's a more heavily conservative district, and it's only in Weld County. Every 10 years, they redraw the boundaries, and where I live in Frederick, it was drawn into this newer House District 19. So it's a very, very tight seat, and I lost when I ran for that. There was a Libertarian. I think without the Libertarian, I only lost by 100 or 160 votes.
And speaking of Barb Kirkmeyer,
she
may have some thoughts about the Libertarian in her race.
So this last race, this helped. We talked to the Libertarian Party, and they stayed out of the race, and I won it. I won it by 110 votes. So, I mean, it's an extremely tight seat, obviously.
Well, hold on. Wow. You won a race by 110 votes?
110 votes.
That's like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was a delay in counting the votes. It was so close that it took a few weeks to get the final count.
Walk somebody through what that experience is like. So, the night of the election, what did it look like?
Night of the election, I was a little bit down. It looked like Trump was winning, but I was behind, and it just wasn't looking good.
Yeah.
And then, I had a couple friends at the watch party we were at, and they said, have faith. There's still a lot of votes coming in. And then over time, here's what happened, I'm quite sure. So a lot of Republicans tend to vote the day of.
Yeah.
So those ballots came in later. So that's why I was behind, and I was slowly catching up each day, but I kept telling myself, this isn't enough. I need like a bigger drop. And I think maybe 4 or 5 days after the election, all of a sudden I took the lead. And then from there, it was just teetering on the edge and nerve-wracking for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Dan Woog's up here. Barb Kirkmeyer is going to be joining us. We got Senator Bright coming by as well. We've got Hugo Chavez-Ray. We're going to have a lot of fun up here, but most importantly, we're eating good food at the IHOP.
Yeah, now
right, Bill?
I got to ask Dan Woog here a question. This is very, very, very important, and it's pertaining to breakfast. Okay, your official position: waffles or Belgian waffles or pancakes? Answer carefully.
I'm gonna go with if it was an everyday thing. I'm gonna go with waffles on that.
Okay,
just
now
standard waffles.
Why the waffles and not the Belgian? And why your thing? We are at IHOP, the International House of Pancakes. So why are you discounting their pancakes? I'm kidding. I'm teasing. But why waffles?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Well, normally I'd get eggs. I like the protein, bacon and eggs, sausage, but.
There you are.
Belgian waffles have a little different flavor.
It's all healthy.
Hold on.
I know.
There's a different body shape here. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's got the chest out.
I am in
He's
shape.
got the muscles.
Round is a shape. I am in shape.
You're in Belgian.
I'm fine. Yes.
Belgian waffle shape.
Okay. Yes, I'm absolutely in Belgian waffle shape.
We got more
I'm
people
training.
coming in. Howdy.
Hey, morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Belgian have a little different flavor, I think. And
Yes.
I like it, but it's just
Yeah.
I'm more of a. I just like the standard waffles. You know, my mom used to make them for me. I like pancakes. Chocolate chip pancakes are great.
Oh yeah.
So, but I would go with if it was just one I had to pick, I'd just go with standard waffles.
I like that choice. I like that choice. They're simply, and this is the thing that for me, and I'm doing the Belgian waffles here. Yeah, these are like strawberry, and they're amazing. But the thing I love about them is you got those little syrup packets. You got little holes. And the waffles hold on to the syrup. Where the pancakes, you're like, nah, syrup, just go wherever you want. Just get all over the place. And you've got it based on, like, just absorption. But the waffles come in and say, no. I want to hang on to this syrup for you. I understand how important this is for the completion of the breakfast. Unlike my brethren, the pancakes, I will not shed the delicious, creamy, sugary syrupiness all over the rest of the plate and making it a mess. I will hang on to it, and it is perfect for your little bite. That's why waffles. I agree, sir. Waffles are much better.
Hey, that's a good point.
See?
It keeps it clean.
There's another
you know?
level, guys.
I might have thought about this way too much.
The French crepe
French
is where
crepes.
you mix breakfast and dessert.
That is true. The crepes do something different. Do something different because I feel like sometimes pancakes they're absolutely fantastic, but sometimes pancakes are like pretending to be muffins and say, hey, morning. All right, but this is fantastic. Come out and see us at IHOP. We're at IHOP at 104th and I-25. I'm going to bite. We're going to be broadcasting here live this morning with my mouth full. And Jeff's doing the Bananas Foster.
More people coming on in. It's going to be a great morning.
And you'll be able to see in person the Kyle's Karen's t-shirt. We have a listener that got his shirt already in the mail. I've never seen it in person yet.
Favorite.
Yeah, this is fantastic. You've got to come out here and see it.
We got some MAGA hats coming in.
Oh, yay!
Hey!
Hey!
There we go.
All right. Oh, this is so
Love
good.
it. Welcome. I know who that is. Joe from Nevada.
That's Joe!
Yes.
My man!
The
Love
man.
that. Oh, I have to talk to you in a bit. Yes, I like that. Joe said he's not a hat guy, but he wanted to
Joe
stand
from
up for
Arvada's here.
the man.
We got the boxing gloves. He and Billy are
This
going
is
to go
good.
at
Oh,
it. And
no.
we're going to talk
Not
more
today.
with Dan Wu coming up. But
Yes.
now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
All right.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good, happy waffle and pancake morning. It's Wednesday, 60 and partly cloudy in Denver. Expecting a high of 88 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast coming up. Our top story. What a scene on Tuesday at Fort Bragg. DJT was there and figured we need to start the day with that, maybe, after everything we saw last night and felt. I bet your back isn't hurting as much as Jeff's is this morning.
Jeff Hunt, 710 KNUS, right in the middle of the No Ice Parade.
Jeff was at the Capitol doing a report, and someone comes up behind him and kicks him in the back. Jeff follows the man, confronts him.
No fear! Immigrants are welcome!
No fear.
I'm going to call the police.
Oh, okay. Immigrants are welcome!
You're going to get brought up on assault charges.
Immigrants are welcome here! No fear!
Hey, don't talk to him. You're going to ruin the image. Don't do that. Don't talk to him. I'm sorry. Don't talk to the media. What are you doing? Piss me off. You're going to ruin
You can't stop me from blocking, man.
Immigrants are welcome here! No hate! No fear!
Yeah, no hate, no fear, right. His leader comes up and tells him to stop talking. We can't do that. And he said, you pissed me off. That guy, by the way, his little leader, had a backpack full of who knows what. I don't know if they were almonds, trail mix bars, who knows. But it was packed. Maybe a few bricks in there, who knows. Jeff goes to X. He tries to get an identification of the young man. And the people following Jeff on X, they go to work, and there's a photo of him at Colorado State's graduation with his friend in front of Moby Arena. Has the same tattoo on his arm that says, take your time. Well, it didn't take too long to identify him. So hopefully Jeff's back will be all right. But he took quite and kick last night near the Capitol. Several knuckleheads have been detained following the protests in Denver, 17 according to Channel 7. One group of protesters engaged in a standoff with law enforcement after they tried to march onto I-25 to block traffic. Police also deployed tear gas trying to break up a group of protesters in the area of Broadway and Exposition. Most of the crowd dispersed after the gas was deployed, and a few were detained after they refused to leave. L.A. Mayor Incompetent Bass issued an overnight curfew in a 1 square mile area of downtown L.A., where most of the violence and vandalism has taken place since the protests began last Friday. And California Governor Newsom with his theatrics.
This moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please, please do it peacefully. I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in to him.
Actor Jon Voight always has a thoughtful opinion.
You're a fool blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You?
Amen to that. About 12,000 XL customers were reportedly without electricity around 10 o'clock last night. That was just down to about over 2,500 early this morning, with most of the remaining outages in Denver and Lakewood. Jefferson County's coroner confirms the death of a Denver hairstylist. The coroner determined Tuesday that a body found in a Lakewood alley last week belonged to 34-year-old Jax Gratton. Friends and family have been searching for Gratton since she was reported missing in April. Lakewood police say they are treating the case as a suspicious death. U.S. and Chinese officials have apparently reached a trade deal in London. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told reporters after Tuesday's meeting that the two sides have reached a framework to implement a Geneva trade agreement. Evidently, CU head football coach Deion Sanders is at his home in Texas recovering from an unspecified health issue. He has struggled with his left foot in the past, had 2 toes amputated in 2021 after blood clot issues. The university did not have any comment. The Rockies and the Giants last night, the Giants win 6-5. 57 in Arvada, 59 in Lone Tree, 60 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue from the IHOP on 104th and I-25. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Typical June weather for Denver, the Front Range again today, and we're going to take this forecast right on through the end of the week and through the weekend. Daytime highs are going to be climbing well up into the 80s, flirting with 90 at times. As we go through today, Thursday, and Friday, overnight lows will be in the 50s to near 60 degrees. Isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms today. A few hit-or-miss late-day showers and thunderstorms Thursday, Friday, and same for the weekend. Weather sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Man, we're filling up here. It's great to see everybody. We got little ones here. Hey, So glad to have you here. We got the MAGA hats. We got Joe from Arvada. We got I'm not a proud member of Kyle's Karens. The shirt is in the wild.
It is out. Oh, you can see it in person.
We got some folks from Brave Church here. We've got
amazing.
Hugo Chavez Ray just walked in. Man, we're going to have some fun today. So,
this is a lot of fun. If you're not just want to see our smiling faces this early in the morning at IHOP at 104th and I-25, come on out and see the Kyle's Karens T-shirt. I'm not a proud member. The first time either Jeff or I have seen it. Yes. Oh, so if nothing else, come out here and see it. We have got a great breakfast deal for you. $7.10 will get you their big breakfast. You know, we're talking about the eggs, the hash browns, the meats, stuff like that. Also, they'll do $7.10 for a pancake stack. You pick your favorite, and you can go ahead or you can throw down with like Jeff's doing right now with the Bananas Foster. I just did the Belgian waffles. Also, they have just released brand new IHOP mugs. These are nice, large mugs. They are branded. They're normally quite expensive, but for you today, our listeners, they'll do them for $7.10. The cool thing is there's a color on the inside, much like a Kyle's Karens T-shirt. You can choose a red one. You can choose a blue one. Yeah, Jeff's got a red one. I've got a red one as well. I'm not sure who on the crew picked a blue one. No, I don't.
No, you should.
Red. I chose red. I wanted the red one.
He actually asked for a red and blue one.
Yeah, I felt greedy. I technically did want both, but I felt greedy.
Sitting right next to us is Dan Woog, who's eating his breakfast. Bill and I are going for the sugar and strawberries and the crepes.
And he's doing something like, I gotta be healthy.
It's just like, can I have just straight eggs? He's actually put them in a cup and he's going to drink them like Sylvester Stallone.
I have tried that. It's not the tastiest thing. I just came from the gym.
Okay.
I needed some protein.
There's a comedian that does a bit about that, and they talk about the idea that when you watch Rocky when you're a kid, there's something like, yeah, Rocky, you do it. You drink those eggs. You do it. That's going to fuel you for that fight. And then you get older, and you're like, ooh, that's a lot of cholesterol. Do you have any idea that, that's bad for you, Rocky? You really shouldn't be doing that. That you view that whole scene differently as you get older.
Fresh from the gym, state rep Dan Woog hanging out with us now. Who loves delivery fees? Do you love delivery fees?
You know, I've never looked at that and said, wow, that seems like a value.
So glad my money's going to the government with delivery fees.
Yes.
Here's the man that tried to repeal them.
Oh.
Dan Woog tried to get those delivery fees out of here.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, talk to us about
what happened.
What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, of course, and the delivery fees, really, it's just $100 million tax on our citizens, and that's so many. You guys all know there's Amazon deliveries, there's pizza deliveries, pharmaceuticals that go on, and we're
hold on. Who's also? Oh, we got lights going down.
Lights down.
Sorry,
man down.
A little breeze coming through. Have you ever had to have that conversation with your wife about the number of Amazon packages?
Yeah. My lovely bride may have told me at one point, I think that you have enough soccer jerseys.
Oh, it's you! She talks with you about it.
Yes, it's me. Yes, absolutely, it's me.
Dude, 110%. Normally it's the other way around.
No. Have you? You should know this. You've met my wife.
Yes,
Can you guess which one of us is the most
reasonable one?
Yes. Who is the most irresponsible in the relationship?
Yes, 100,
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. 110%. It is always my fault. Just the other day, she had do you know how often you've had charges from? Yeah, I know. It was a reptile store. I was buying stuff for the snakes. But
last night, I get home from getting kicked in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm walking into the front door, and I'm like, there's a whole... It's like an army. I don't even know how to describe a plethora of Amazon boxes everywhere.
Your kids are building a box fort.
Yeah, that's right.
Afterwards.
Right, Steven's like, there's a lot of Amazon packages yesterday. So everybody knows this, and every time you buy anything, a little tiny widget that gets mailed to you via Amazon, you're going to pay these stupid delivery fees.
Yeah, you got to pay those fees, and even think about there are people that are mobile, they're older, they can't get out, so they're relying on deliveries, so they're even getting hit harder. So that bill, of course, failed in committee. It literally, not one Democrat voted in favor of it.
Really?
Kind of what I expected that it would fail, but not one vote in support of it. They really didn't say much. They just voted it down. It's just no. They don't want to look at anything that will reduce the cost of living. I mean, that was a big push for me. I want to run something, even if it's little like fees. We need to start chipping away at this stuff.
Right.
But no, they really have no desire and that's in
have
their
you,
actions.
in all your years in local leadership as well as state, ever seen a Democrat accept less money for the state? Like, have they
No.
ever gone, that little fee, even when you were city council or whatever, maybe we could give it back to the people. It'd be better for them to have the money than us, so let's cut that fee out.
No, they think government spends it better. So in other words, they think we legislators and government are smarter than everyone else. Unfortunately, that's their thought process.
Yeah. I think that's
pretty
exactly
brutal.
right.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly right. So you did get a bill passed, though. Tell us about juvenile detention.
Yeah, so another focus for me is law and order and just trying to make our state safer again. So currently there are not enough beds and spaces for convicted juveniles, and these convicted juveniles could be from assault, it could be from rape, very serious crimes. And as it stands, a judge would have to decide there weren't enough beds, enough places for them to stay. So a judge would just have to send any, meeny, miny, mo, and send one person that was in there out on the streets to take in a new person. So
the judge is literally trying to prioritize the bad guys, the worst ones. But in the meantime, they're letting some guys that have done some bad stuff, but maybe not as bad, out.
Yeah, but it could be
without fulfilling their total sentences.
Yeah,
right?
you are absolutely correct. So there are many that are out on the streets currently because the judges they're trying to do their best and figure out who to put back out there. And oftentimes, whether it's time or getting reform, these kids are not ready to be back out. They're just going to commit more crimes, obviously. So this just made it so a DA can say, we have these emergency beds, which we've always had. They just couldn't use them before. The DA can now say, hey, we need these beds. We're putting them in there. So it's just getting more criminals off the streets.
Is it a sign of kind of cultural decay that we're running out of juvenile space beds?
I think so.
Right? That's kind of the bigger problem. Like, okay, I understand the technical issue and we want to open up DAs, but then my mind goes to, are we at a place where we have so many kids that we're having to lock up, and I think these are righteous sentences, that maybe we've got a bigger problem on our hands?
Yeah, I think there's a family problem, parenting problem. There's a lot of kids that are lost out there and probably on the streets more often than they should be, and committing these crimes. So to me that says a lot about where we're at as a society, and it is tough as parents now. And we got distractions and social media, more distractions than ever it seems in the history of mankind, but that's no excuse. I think and that's not something politics will fix. That's not something a law is really going to fix. Ultimately, we really need to be thinking about just families and what's tearing families apart and what's not allowing parents to, do the job they need to do for their children.
So did the Democrats support your bill?
We did get support on this one. But we had to. So there's always some give and take. There was some grant money that was put into towards more reformation. A lot of the Democrats, we all have a heart for people, but they almost think the kids are innocent and they need more help with reform. And fine, we do want reform, but that was part of the deal. There had to be some funding with a grant for reform for some of these kids. So I felt, I'm just on law and order. I'm in, and there's a cost to that. That's just always how I've been as a legislator and as a local council member, that I'm going to support if I think it's a good bill, and it might cost something, but if that's helping keep everyone around us safer in Colorado, then I generally support that.
There you go. That's Dan Woog you're hearing from. Dan is a state representative just north of where we're doing a live broadcast at the I-20, at the IHOP at I-25 and 104th. Folks starting to come in. I don't know. It seems to me like corporal punishment in schools may help. I'm not going to put Dan on the spot here because that'll end up in a Channel 9 debate.
Now.
But I'm like, a little spanking in the schools may help.
The teacher. My son. Someone. I shouldn't say this on the air. Maybe he was getting a drink of water and someone, pulled his shorts down and I said, was there a teacher there? He goes, yeah. I go, well, did the teacher grab that kid's arm and walk away with them and kind of sternly give him a talking to? Oh, no, they can't touch us. Teachers can't do that. And I'm just like, what does this world come to? I want the teachers to be like a parent when I'm not there, you know?
At least
Just
help
crazy.
out.
But the problem on that is that as soon as you
Here
have
comes
no,
Bill.
I know, but no,
Yeah, the problem, you know.
yeah. The issue is going to
We
be
can't- let
as
us
soon
live in
as
our conservative
as
dream world.
soon as that teacher grabs that kid, the parents of that kid are going to show up,
Yes.
and this is the idea is, and this is a fundamental
Great point.
problem we have with things like holding kids back and failing them. It used to be something that was regular, and as a general issue, most parents will support the idea that if the kids don't get to grade level work, they
Right.
shouldn't
Should
be progressed.
Right.
Until it's your kid. And as soon as it's your kid, it's you're a bad teacher, your school sucks, my kid's doing the work, you're not, it's you. As soon as it is your kid that is involved in the negative behavior, as soon as it's your kid that's skipping class, as soon as it's your kid that's not making grades, it's no longer your fault. It's always external. And I have seen that from members of my family that have been in education for decades. And I still have the story from my mom sitting there, and she's a principal of a high school, and she has a chronic problem kid. And the mom turns to her during the disciplinary meeting and goes, well, you have him for 8 hours a day. Why can't you fix him?
Wow.
That's the perception.
Now-
And that's the problem with the idea, because as soon as, and I agree, that teacher should have grabbed the kid and there should have been some discipline. But as soon as they touch that kid, that parent is in the school and wants to know why you touched my beautiful ray of sunshine.
Now, Bill, you always bring reason into
I try not to.
conservative family
Yeah.
world. But I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
You were educated in Catholic schools.
Oh,
Did
hell
they-
yeah.
Did they have corporal punishment? Did you ever get
No.
a nun? You
No.
never had a nun?
No, never had them get. But I do have members of my family where nuns and stuff got physical. The other part, though, is they didn't need to. But the other, and this is the advantage, is, and this is what I think the inherent advantage that we discount inside. I didn't know we were going to go on public education and stuff this morning, but I think this is the issue that we discount in the problems that we're having with public education.
Yeah.
Is the private schools and the charter schools can kick the kids out. The regular public school can't.
Yeah.
It is so hard, and so
But they move them around.
but it's again, even then it is incredibly difficult because you can't necessarily move them because that kid's still got to get to another bus. You've got to provide transportation because if it's public school, the district has to provide transportation, and even if that is to another school. And that's part of the problem, is that both the private schools and the charter schools can self-select where the public schools can't. If we had a way at the average public school to functionally enforce many of the discipline and get that 5 to 10% of the kids that are always causing problems out, you would see a lot better results. From what I understand, I've seen kids, I've got someone that works inside one of the schools right now, saw a middle kid that's coming into high school that has more than 500 skipped classes in the last year. Coming out of 8th grade, going into freshman year in 8th grade, they skipped more than 500.
What was that kid doing all day?
That's what this person in my family asked. Where the hell was the kid? What was he doing?
Well,
yeah.
I ask about corporal punishment, and it ends up in a Channel 9 news debate. you remember when Gabe
fault.
Evans had to
Yes.
answer that randomly? Remember that bill that was 10 years ago?
Yeah, I know.
With corporal
Remember
punishment? But Dan, so grateful for your leadership, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking time to.
I wish you could have got the
stop
delivery
by.
fees off. That's ridiculous.
I know. We'll
That
keep
is.
working on it.
But again, I think Dan's absolutely right that the idea that
It's $100 million. But
Well,
Democrats have never turned down
they
money.
don't want to. That's the issue. Is
Right.
they don't want to. They're not. They don't look at government functionally
Yes.
that way. They're not looking at it as Dan was talking about, the idea of making it easier for the constituents to live. And he views it through the idea, and I think he's correct, the idea that they have more money of themselves and they can turn around and make the choices that are best for them. Where I believe the Democrats come at it and say, we are going to make the lives easier for the constituents because the government is going to do X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Yeah, just totally different perspective. But I appreciate it. And Dan's right. I wish that fees would have passed. That's crap.
So Dan, working out this morning, swinging by, eating some eggs,
like he's
getting
ripping our-
buff. Where are you going from here?
Where am I going from here? I'm headed home. I got to make some calls, and then I got a couple other appointments this afternoon.
You got to get back to work.
Yep.
You don't know this, but you may not know this, but lawmakers, it's not the best salary.
It's not the best salary. There's work to be
They
done.
gotta go. They actually have to go do other work.
Yep.
Dan, thank you, brother.
Yes,
Always
thank
good to
you.
see
Really
man.
appreciate you having me. Great
Dan
to be
Very nice
here.
of
Woog
you to
here.
stop by.
Barb Kirkmeyer just walked in. We're going to have her
Yes.
up next. This is a special live broadcast of the Jeff and Bill Show from the IHOP off of I-25 on 104th. Swing by, say hi. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader. This is News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're doing a live broadcast here at the IHOP off of I-25 and 104th here in North Glen. We've done these all over the state.
I'm out of breath.
I know, Bill. So the fun thing is, Bill just loves to go out and talk to people
I do.
at these events.
I
And
love
get
this.
pictures and
Yes.
Bill is what everybody wants to talk about anytime I'm anywhere in public too. They're like,
That's mostly because of stuff I've
you're
done.
the notorious Bill Thorpe. But what I love about going out and doing these live broadcasts is most of the work we do is in a studio. People kind of come to us when we do phone interviews, but we get to be out with our listeners, which is the whole reason we do our job, because we love
it's wonderful.
our listeners. And then we get lawmakers to come by and hang out with us as well. This is a big deal.
It's a big
Bill.
deal.
All right, she sits on the Joint Budget Committee.
Oh, I know.
Now, if you don't know what that means, that's a big budget she gets to control or help control.
It's a lot of zeros.
Billions, actually.
Yeah.
And Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, we're up near your district. She's now with us. Good morning, Barb.
Good morning.
Glad to have you. Now, tell us about your district. It's in the northern part of Colorado, right?
It's the North I-25 corridor. I tell everybody it goes from essentially Top Golf on the south side all the way up to Timnath along the I-25 corridor.
So we're not far from here, right?
No,
just
like maybe 5 miles max.
Okay, great. So big district, and you sit on the Joint Budget Committee.
Yes.
Explain. Well, you know what I would love to hear is like a little insight into what that was like with Jared Polis and the budget battle that went back and forth, and how you all decided how you're going to spend our money.
So the Joint Budget Committee is made up of 6 members, 3 members from the Senate, 3 members from the House. Majority party in each chamber gets to pick 2 members.
Okay.
So it's a 4-2 committee. So 4 Democrats, 2 Republicans. But the thing about the Joint Budget Committee is if you're in the minority, it is the best committee to serve on.
Really?
Because it's where you actually have influence and
Yeah,
you
it's
have ability to make some changes and do some things. Because first of all, the long bill, which is the budget.
Yeah.
And
So a
were you
little
gonna
closer.
say-
No,
Okay.
a little bit closer so we
All
can
right.
hear you good.
There you go. Okay. So the long bill, which is the budget, that bill does not require all 6 votes. But any other bill that the Joint Budget Committee would carry, and this year we carried, I think it was 64 bills that orbit around the budget. They're called orbitals. Those all have to be approved by every member of the Joint Budget Committee. So the JBC does not carry a bill unless every JBC member says yes to it. So that's one thing. The other thing is, for them to have a quorum and be able to vote on the budget, on what we're doing, anything like whether it's education or higher education or Medicaid provider rates, they have to have a member of the minority present. So if they're trying to roll us, we just get up and leave. We just walk out for a while and take a break until they take a break.
And then it kind of stalls.
And then it comes
everything,
back.
right?
So it does. So,
Wow.
and it is the legislative branch that writes the budget. So these 6 members, myself and 5 others, we write the budget for the state of Colorado, and then we present it to the legislative branch, our other 94 colleagues, and they vote on it. But it's the legislative branch. It is the one thing that we have to do when we're in session. We
right.
have to have a balanced budget.
Yeah. And you have, like you just laid out, a lot of sway over this budget. So I imagine you get some phone calls from people like Jared Polis, right?
Well, the governor has to present a budget to us.
Yeah.
Like, he thinks he writes the budget, but he does not. It's a request.
Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
Oh, no. I tell him that all the time. I'm like, you remember, it's a request. And I've got a lot of questions about your request. So he puts in a request. It has to be in by November 1st. And then he comes and presents it. And it is supposed to be him. He comes with his director of the Office of State Planning and Budget, Mark Ferrandino, but this year. And he comes and presents it then also to the Joint Budget Committee.
Yeah.
And this year it got a little contentious because
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
well, he had some things in his budget where he wanted to cut education by $150 million. This is after last year we were able to eliminate the budget stabilization factor, fully fund education as required under our Constitution. And lo and behold, the governor's like, let's change that deal and let's cut education by $150 million. He also wanted to cut rural health care. He cut Medicaid. He cut, I'm trying to think, funding for neglected and abused kids. But in the midst of that, he put in things like a ticket booth at the state fair, Or this wonderful bridge, that he wants to build across Lincoln.
Oh my gosh!
Right?
Yes. And they want to spend like $18 million or something like that.
Well, not state money. That isn't going to happen. That is just not going to happen.
That was so ugly. I don't think
we're still in the process.
My favorite was when Channel 9 goes, "We couldn't find a single positive comment on the Instagram notification."
Yes, other than the people who designed it. But I'm wondering how they got the authority to even design it. That bridge will be state property. It has to go through a process. It has to go through the Capital Development Committee. Has to go through. We have all these statutory processes that it has to go through. And it ended up, I think, like 47th or something on the list, like all the way at the bottom of our capital development project.
As it should, right.
But
it shouldn't even be on the list.
But it's supposed to be so pretty and helpful.
A winding road, because as you point out, Bill, nobody likes to go directly to their location.
There isn't a pathway that my family has worn across our grass because they cut across it in order to get to the mailbox. They could go on the sidewalk, but no, across the grass. I just don't have to mow that path, but still.
Well, I heard the governor said that little kids were running across Lincoln, like in the middle of the street, instead of going to the crosswalk, and I thought, I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Well, I've
seen adults
protesters.
Do it.
Right.
Protesters.
But did you see in the article too?
Oh, so the bridge is for the protesters.
Right. Well, that's in part, and know they won't take advantage of that. But
no, not at all.
They pointed out over 5 years, there's been 5 incidents of pedestrians being hit.
Yeah, 5.
And when you think about the number of cars traveling down Broadway and Lincoln at that point, and the 5 in 5 years warrants $18 million
or more,
right?
Or more.
And we were talking about parents in the last segment with the Representative Woog. If we have toddlers that are running into the street, I'm guessing we first asked the parents where they were. Just an idea.
Well,
right. They were protesting.
That's where all the kids who come to tour the Capitol.
Yeah.
And that's where the buses park, in that area. But I'm like, seriously? So they're not taking them up to the crosswalk? Like, I have not seen that. What I've seen is they take them all up to the crosswalk and being responsible.
Exactly. Well, joining us is Barb Kirkmeyer, state senator. She sits on the Joint Budget Committee. Give us a little insight into how the state Senate Republicans may be shifting here. We heard yesterday, I believe, Paul Lundeen, or the day before, Paul Lundeen has resigned. And he's going to do some new work, I believe, with education. So how does that shape things? He was the Senate Minority Leader, right? So
correct.
Top Republican in the Senate, going to do some other work. And first of all, I want to thank Paul for all of his great service to the people of Colorado. How does that shape up the leadership of the
absolutely want to thank Senator Lundeen for his leadership down at the Capitol. I mean, he is a master at managing the floor for our side and working with the majority leader and managing the Senate floor, working that calendar. I mean, I can't tell you how many bills. I mean, literally, I can't tell you. But we killed a lot of bills on the calendar, and a lot of that has to do with Senator Lundeen. He's a very honest, thoughtful, dedicated leader who's able to work across the aisle to sometimes not get things done, which is what we want. So he will be leaving, but he's moving on. He's still going to help us with the Senate Majority Fund, help us, raise money, that type of thing, and still be interested in what's going on here in Colorado. But he's taken a job with a foundation back in Washington, D.C., where, again, he will be pushing conservative, common sense conservative values and principles. Right. So that'd be great. But so now what it does is it leaves a hole for us. So we will be having a leadership vote tomorrow. Okay. And we will be moving people into leadership.
And are you seeking the leadership role?
No, I'm staying on the Joint Budget Committee because it's still my favorite. I mean, I love my job. I just want to say I love my job on the Joint Budget Committee. So,
were you always into spreadsheets?
I led my county to zero debt and lowered the mill levy. So I was a county commissioner for 20 years. So knowing the budget, and I worked in the Owens administration at the Department of Local Affairs, eventually being the executive director, but also I managed the budget for the department. So kind of know it from both sides and also from the local government side. So
wow. Now, speaking of that, as far as the Joint Budget Committee, Barb Kirkmeyer, what is one thing that the average voter doesn't understand about the Joint Budget Committee? What is something they just don't get?
What's something they don't get? Well, again, and I don't, like I said, a lot of people don't get this and they don't understand it, but it is the legislative branch. And it's in the Constitution. We write the budget. and it has to be a balanced budget. And we do have one item in our Constitution, it's called education, where we have to provide for a free public school system and then also increase the total funding for it by inflation. Both of those are measures that are within our Constitution that we have to do. A lot of people don't know that, but we do have to fund a education system.
Gotcha. Barb Kirkmeyer, we're going to continue this conversation. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show live broadcast from the IHOP at I-25 and 104th. Swing by, say hi, and we'll continue after these messages. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's fun watching Bill at these live broadcasts because I see high school Bill and college Bill come back.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which
This
is
is
like,
great.
I'm at a party.
Yes,
so he's
I am.
like dancing to the music.
Oh, I'm dancing.
Out there talking to
Yeah.
people. I'm like, Bill, we got to work.
I
We
know.
gotta work. We gotta
No,
get
this
back
is not
there."
work. This is fun. Yeah, and that was Delight. I love that song. That's good.
Joining us live in person right now is Senator Barb Kirkmeyer. She sits on the Joint Budget Committee. Her Senate seat is just north of here. We just had another senator walk in.
Yeah.
Hello, Senator Bright.
Yeah.
Hey,
By the way,
Senator.
great cowboy shirt.
Damn.
We're doing a live broadcast here at the IHOP at I-25 and 104th. Swing by, say hi to us. We're going to be here till 10. You can come grab a quick cup of coffee, just say hi to Bill and I, or stay for the remainder of the broadcast and watch how we put on a show.
Have a couple pancakes and bacon.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
She's writing the advertisements
Yes, she
for
is.
us. And we even have in the wild not a proud member of Kyle's Karen shirt.
It's the first time I've seen that in public. It is
It got into his
fantastic.
mailbox last night. Which is
It's
great.
wonderful. It's fantastic.
All right, Barb, we got about 4 minutes left. I want to ask you this because I think I want to get to the crux of some of the frustration that people that grew up in Colorado have. I'm a native. This is not the same Colorado. This is a totally different Colorado than I grew up in. Headlines, more people leaving the state than moving in. The Democrat leadership of this state has ruined so much of what we love about it. It just seems to get worse. Bill and I often talk about the Jeff and Bill magic wand. If you had one thing you could change about the way our state's being run right now by Jared Polis, by the Democrat leadership of the Senate House, if there's one thing that you think could change that would get this state back on the right track where people want to live here as opposed to leave here, what would you do?
First of all, we need to get a balance back in our government. Right now, all three chambers are controlled by the Democrats, and they can push and shove anything through they want, and they do. And you're right. I'm a fourth-generation Coloradoan. This is not the Colorado I grew up in either. But not everybody even knows that because we've had so many people who moved in the last 10 years, new people that have moved in. They don't know what Colorado was like and how great we really were. Yeah. But we're in a situation now where, we have 25 counties that have healthcare deserts. We don't fund higher education. We've underfunded. And what is going on with our education system and some of these school districts? My goodness. So if there was one thing I could change, it would be the governor. Because he could stop a bunch of that, or he could start bringing in some visions. Some things other than, I'm saving people money when I'm really not. I've told the governor a couple times, stop gaslighting the, Coloradoans. You have not saved us money. Insurance, health insurance has gone up, car insurance has gone up, property taxes have gone up, groceries have gone up. Everything has gone up. And, we've increased fees, we've brought in more government regulation. And you know who can stop that kind of stuff? It's the governor. He can, kind of lay down the law and say, here's what we're going to do, and here's how my administration is going to work. But I will tell you, this is one of the most ineffective, inefficient administrations I have been around. And I've seen the governor.
Give me applause for that one.
That's right.
That was nice.
But and I say that, and I'm, I don't dislike Jared Polis, and he's not a stupid individual. He's a smart individual. But the thing is, I've been around since Governor Romer, where he would work with people and really did care about hardworking Coloradoans. So, and really did get out and work for them. But I just have not seen that yet. We have an early childhood department that's a new department that created a state entitlement program that isn't working.
Right.
It's not working.
Or Christian schools have to sue to even be able to be a part of it.
Well, the school districts, a couple years ago, sued the governor. I had never heard of that before, but it's not working. We had a preschool program that was working. It cost us about $176 million in 2022, served about 37,000 students, kids in that area. And then remember, we had this all pass, and the governor was like, universal pre-K, we're going to have everybody going to get free preschool. No, you're not. Right. Everyone doesn't get full all-day free preschool. It's not happening. And so what's happened now, 2 years later, 3 years later, it's more than doubled in cost, but we didn't double the number of students. That's what I mean by inefficient and ineffective. So we've got a government that has grown and grown. We hear these folks, my Democrat colleagues, both on the JBC and the governor, talking about, Tabor's our problem. No, Tabor is not our problem in here. We've had a $1.2 billion shortfall in our budget because we have a structural deficit. $1.2 billion out of our general fund operating budget that we had in a shortfall. Did we cut our spending this year? No. No, we did not. We actually increased our spending above inflation. Inflation was 2.4%. Our spending this year was 3.6%, which is a cut for them from what they've been doing. Right. But, they keep saying, oh, it's because of Tabor, it's because of Trump. No, our budget issues are because of the Democrats who are in control. They have overspent year over year over year, above inflation. They spent one-time money that came in from the federal government, during COVID, that was supposed to be used for the public health emergency. We spent it on creating new offices, new programs, new departments, and we overspent. We are still going to be overspent. We are in a structural deficit. So every time, I was on the Joint Budget Committee with Senator Bridges, who is running for state treasurer. He's a great guy, nice guy. He's a friend of mine. We work together pretty well. But he would say stupid things like, Tabor is why we don't have nice things. And by nice things, he was talking about the government. Tabor is why the government doesn't have nice things. And I would stop him and say, no, Tabor is why the people have nice things. So you can't overtax us.
Amen.
So
Barb Kirkmeyer,
what I would like to
state
do.
senator, I love it. Thank you so much for taking time to join us for our live broadcast. We're going to continue. We're here at the IHOP at I-25 and 104th. Come say hi to us. We'll be here till 10. We've got Senator Bright up next. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily
Oh, man,
caffeinated.
Bill and I are having a blast chatting with people coming by. It's so much fun. Special thank you to Bobby for hooking us up here. Man, we are at the IHOP live broadcast, I-25, 104th, North Glen.
Big question.
People coming by,
Yes.
politicians coming by.
This is huge. Yeah, 104th and I-25. We are right here on the corner. We are outside. They wouldn't let me inside the restaurant because they saw what I did last time. So they put us outside on the patio.
Make messes everywhere.
Yeah, I know. That and I argue with some of the guests. So they knew
More
what they were getting into.
coming in. All right, I love it.
Okay, big question for you, sir. Okay, over here next to us, we have either the chicken biscuit sandwich or the poblano omelet. What is your choice?
I'm going with chicken biscuit.
Okay,
I
we got
have
chicken
a feeling that's what you wanted too.
No. I have 4 kids. I never get to choose what I want.
Oh my gosh, this is
chicken biscuit coming your way. There's
I
your
don't even know
silverware.
if I have the room for this anymore.
No, you have to.
I know.
Train for this?
This is.
Also, we have splashers.
You know what's kind of funny is like
Yeah.
my kids know the name Joey Chestnut.
Yes. Yes, we know Joey Chestnut.
He's like a pop icon at this point.
Yeah, he is.
Scott, do you know Joey Chestnut?
Don't know Joey.
Oh, hey, I got to turn to Scott.
You don't
There you
know?
go, Scott.
Okay,
There we
so
go. I don't know.
Joey is the guy that wins the hot dog eating contest at Coney Island
okay,
every.
of course.
Yeah,
everybody knows Joey Chestnut.
He is a competitive eater, which looks
he's got
great
like
on a
the
business
chip
card.
tooth and everything. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
okay.
that's awesome.
Look at this.
Okay, now that's
All
the
right.
chicken biscuit sandwich. So it's basically the chicken fried steak. You've got the gravy on there. You've got the giant biscuit. Yeah, cut into that one, my friend.
browns.
Have you had
You can't go
breakfast
wrong.
yet, Scott?
Let me know.
You know we're providing it here.
I need
so
to do a second breakfast, obviously. This is
Jeff said
amazing.
he'll do sharesies with you if you want to grab a fork. I'm kidding.
That's
I'm
awesome.
kidding. Okay, yeah, I got to try that chicken biscuit real quick.
We're eating. We're
On the
at
air.
the IHOP live broadcast. People coming in, having a lot of fun,
Yep.
getting a chance to meet our listeners who we love, and then community leaders are coming by.
Yeah. Now,
And it's always great to see them.
I'm going to be digging into the poblano omelet. It's poblano peppers.
man.
There are onions, there's shredded beef, there's cheese, there's eggs. And what I'm most excited about is they've got a poblano hollandaise on top of this thing. Okay. Holy crap. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh.
I love how our parents taught us never
Oh, my
to eat with our
goodness.
mouths open, and
No, I
yet
know.
on radio
All the time.
we do it.
Oh, my. No, jeez. Oh, my
Scott's
goodness.
like, what did I walk into?
Awesome.
This is amazing.
I know. We need a third plate.
Yeah, this is poblano peppers that are stuffed inside here, the shredded beef and the onions, because with the hollandaise, the creaminess. Everybody knows that from the Eggs Benedict.
I'm
But you
pretty
get the-
excited about that.
Yeah, the poblano.
lemonade over there, though.
Oh,
you
do
guys
you want that?
popsicle?
What one do you want? It's a
That
splasher.
looks
No, what do you
amazing.
want? Which one do you want? You pick. You pick.
Yes,
This one?
please.
The watermelon?
The watermelon
Yes.
lemonade. Oh
Here.
my gosh.
Watermelon lemonade with
and here.
a popsicle.
Yep, and I'm going to give you, and I'm giving you this, which just in case.
We need
The bottom
napkins.
might be a little wet. Yeah, that is their
Pre-game.
new splashers. So basically, it's lemonade, and they've thrown a popsicle in it, like every good third grader should have thought of. I'm disappointed. I didn't think of that. How is that? That's the watermelon one. Is that good?
Amazing. Leave it to IHOP to come up with a great idea.
Oh, is that crazy?
Really
it's
good.
so good. Now these again, the hollandaise sauce. It's like creamy, but then they've got the poblano peppers in it, and so it's got that little kick. When you've got like nacho cheese, it's got a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of like burn. That's what this is. Oh, and that shredded beef
You
on the
can come
inside.
hang out with us.
Oh.
And Scott Bright's here. He's a newly elected state senator. You just
good.
finished your first
Yes,
term as
I
a state
did.
senator,
Yes, I did.
right? And tell us about your district.
District 13 is Greeley, Brighton, Highway 85 corridor in between all the little towns, including Platteville, which is where I currently live. So, love Senate District 13. It's where I'm from.
And what do you do when you're not serving in the Senate?
Yeah, so I own a child care center, actually a few of them, and some after-school programs. So that is what has pushed me into this space.
Really?
Wow.
Why is that?
Well, as you've seen over the course of the last 10, 20 years, the face of early childhood has changed significantly in the state of Colorado. And as it has gone through some big changes, I have been at the table trying to be the voice of child care providers and kids in the state of Colorado. And it has had some good things, come through, but it's also had some rough things come through too. So as I was trying to address those difficult things from the outside, I found that I could be a whole lot more effective at that on the inside. So I went ahead and ran, and just like anybody else that wants to make a change in the state of Colorado where they live, I'm stepping in to make a difference. So.
And how was your first term?
It was good. It was,
it's a
I
steep
learned
learning
a lot.
curve, right?
It's difficult to understand the complexity of the legislature from the outside, and so seeing it from the inside, seeing the influence, seeing how the sausage is made, so to speak.
Yeah, where the money bags show up.
Wow, seeing all that firsthand, the deals that are cut, the systems, the processes, the scheduling of the calendar. Things will fall off the end intentionally. Things will be squelched down intentionally. Things will be brought forward intentionally, and it's really a different process than what I had observed from the outside.
Awesome. Well, we're going to continue this conversation. Scott Bright's live here with us, but now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Good morning. Wednesday, 67 and partly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 89 today. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Our top story, U.S. and Chinese officials have apparently reached a trade deal in London. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told reporters that the two sides have reached a framework to implement a Geneva trade agreement following last week's phone conversation between DJT and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Trump says that China will supply rare earth minerals up front to the U.S. as part of it, and the U.S. will make certain concessions in return. Hundreds of demonstrators marched through downtown Tuesday night demanding an end to ICE raids. Alfonso, an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation Denver.
If they choose to keep attacking people's rights, there's going to be a response. And so ICE should be mindful of the fact that they can't get away with their behavior.
He hates law and order. The march was partially organized by the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, began at the state capitol and then moved through the city streets, briefly blocking traffic, isn't that nice, and pausing outside the federal courthouse. Around 8 o'clock, police began deploying crowd control gas as tensions escalated. Organizers say more demonstrations are planned in the coming weeks and probably this weekend. Yippee! It should be a great weekend for that.
Jeff Hunt, 710 KNUS, right in the middle of the No Ice Parade.
So Jeff was at the Capitol doing a report, and someone comes up behind him and kicks him in the back, a POS. Jeff follows the man, confronts him. His leader tells him to stop talking. It's all about image here as they wear their face masks and hoodies and caps. And they told him to back up.
No fear! Immigrants are welcome.
What are you here for? I'm going to call the police. Oh, okay.
Immigrants are
Yeah,
welcome.
you're going to get brought up on assault charges.
Immigrants are welcome here. No fear.
Hey, don't talk to him. You're going to ruin the image. Don't do that. Don't talk to him.
I'm sorry.
Don't talk to the media. What are you doing?
Piss me off.
You're going to ruin
You can't stop me from blocking, man.
Immigrants are welcome here. No hate. No fear.
Oh, so Jeff pissed him off, so he figured he'd go kick him in the back. He pissed him off because he was wearing a KNUS hat. The guy, by the way, the leader type who pulled him back, he's wearing a backpack full of who knows what. It looked heavier than Lunchables or juice boxes, by the way. Jeff goes on X. He tries to get an identification of the young man. And, man, it works. Finds the ex-people, ex-Army, they find a photo of the young man at CSU's graduation with his friend in front of Moby Arena with the diploma or degree. And the friend, by the way, was right there next to him at the protest last night. Has the same tattoo on his right arm that says, "Take your time." Didn't take long to find him. But we know one thing. He loves to just kick people in the back. 17 people were detained last night. He should have been one of them. California Governor Newsom continues to go after DJT as their paid riots continue in L.A. Vivek Ramaswamy, running for governor of Ohio now, has an opinion.
His behavior is starting to resemble that of another Democratic governor from U.S. history by the name of George Wallace, who was the governor of Alabama, who famously stood in the way of federal desegregation. And in 1963, President John F. Kennedy had to deploy the National Guard of Alabama, just like President Trump is doing today. And I know that's counterintuitive to some people, but the parallels are actually pretty striking if you think about it. Democrat governors, when you look at George Wallace, he resisted desegregation. Gavin Newsom is resisting deportations. George Wallace wanted segregated cities. Gavin Newsom wants sanctuary cities. George Wallace stood in the school door blocking the way. Gavin Newsom is blocking the ICE vans. It's the same Democrat governor playbook. You dodge the feds, you rally the radicals, and most importantly of all, you do it in front of the cameras.
Absolutely. Prices rose less than expected in May. Numbers out this morning from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that the cost of goods and services was up 0.1% over the previous month, putting the annual rate of inflation at 2.4%. The Giants beat the Rockies 6-5 last night at Coors, and evidently CU head football coach Deion Sanders has some health issues at home, unspecified. He's at home in Texas. He's struggled, as most of us know, with his left foot in the past. He had to have 2 toes amputated in 2021 after blood clot issues. The university did not have any comment. 66 in Lakewood, 65 in Centennial, 67 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue from the IHOP on 104th. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Typical June weather for Denver, the Front Range, again today, and we're going to take this forecast right on through the end of the week and through the weekend. Daytime highs are going to be climbing well up into the 80s, flirting with 90 at times. As we go through today, Thursday, and Friday, overnight lows will be in the 50s to near 60 degrees. Isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms today. A few hit-or-miss late-day showers and thunderstorms Thursday, Friday, and same for the weekend. Weather sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Yeah, welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, minus Jeff. Scott Bright is next to me, and we're going to touch all of Jeff's food real quickly. And we're going to just because you're not here yet.
I want to give them props because they didn't have to come out here.
Yeah.
But Jason Salzman and the guys from the Colorado Times Recorder are here.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Hey. Hello. Hi.
They're
Thanks
over
for
there.
coming out.
And we're not segregating them. they're
yes, we are. I'm teasing.
We ran out of room on the patio, but look.
It's wonderful.
You know, and Jason even said, I'm sorry for what happened yesterday.
I thought he was here to kick you again.
Right.
I saw what happened on X, and I thought it was a good idea.
That'd show up. But no,
I'm teasing him. I'm teasing
No,
him.
all the political differences that exist, even within the media. Cordial, always been friendly, always nice.
Oh, that's nice.
So appreciate Salzman.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Colorado Times Recorder. All right.
Yeah, we were eating your food while you were gone. I hope you didn't. Hope it didn't matter. And I want to ask, and Scott Bright and I have been eating some of the food here. We're out at IHOP at 104th and I-25. Coming out and see here, we are broadcasting live. We are on the patio because I'm not allowed inside the building after I got in the argument with the guest last time. So we are on the patio, but we have got a great deal for you for $7.10. We are hooking you up with their delicious full breakfast. We're talking about the eggs, the bacon, the hash browns, the whole 9 yards. Or you can choose their giant stack of pancakes for $7.10. Also, we have their brand new IHOP mugs. Yes, the IHOP mugs have just been released. They're nice and large, and you can choose either a red or blue for the inside. So make it go with your politics.
What's your inside?
Yes. and it's $7.10. Normally much, much more expensive, and even more expensive if you say you're a Democrat. But yeah, today, though, only $7.10. And I know that as we were sitting out and hanging around here, Scott Bright was doing the splasher, which is basically lemonade with a popsicle dropped inside. Scott, how was that splasher?
What a cool idea. Just reminds me of like when I was a kid, summer, it's hot, you're at the pool, and lemonade and popsicles. Dude, why not combine them?
I'm telling you,
how cool is this?
Like Scott, you, me, and Jeff would have like made bank if we were kids and we figured this out.
Totally.
Done it in the neighborhood. Yeah, that thing is fantastic.
Pro tip. If you've got a lemonade stand on the corner, you're trying to raise some money for whatever your thing is, add popsicles. And I think they'd go really fast.
Yeah, and upcharge for the popsicle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for the ad. And the cool thing is as that popsicle melts, it adds the flavor inside of the lemonade. So at first it's very lemon forward, and then it starts to pull in the watermelon as you get further on. I might have had a splasher before.
You had last time.
Yeah, I know. They're so good. They are so good.
All right, so Scott.
Yes.
You took over Kevin Priola's seat.
The senator who shall not be named.
Nice.
And Kevin was a unique one. Is the best way to describe it. If you don't know, Kevin Priola, at one point a Republican, then became a moderate. Then I think he eventually went all the way over to Democrat. And so Republican that switched parties, moderate most of his career. Tell us about filling that role. And then you won pretty decisively, 56-44. So are you in the Kevin Priola mold? Are you different than him?
Yeah, I'm much different. First of all, I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to live within that reason the entire time that I'm here. My politics, my views don't change. I'm to the core conservative. So I wasn't able to work with Kevin because obviously we didn't serve at the same time, but I've just gone by what I've heard from others who have worked with him, and just it's too bad that slip happened. That is not Weld County, that is not Brighton, Adams County, and the folks in that area in Senate District 13 really wanted to be represented by someone with a conservative voice. So really wanted to voice that in the election, and as you can see, 56-44, that's what happened.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, so what surprised you your first term as being a senator? You get down there, now you're seeing how the sausage is made.
Right.
And the lobbyists show up and all their
money. So was warned pretty significantly about all the different things, was coached for 3 weeks solid on what's going to happen, but nothing will prepare you for being on the floor and then having to speak to topics without much preparation, being able to just pontificate about those things. Another thing that really was interesting is just how strong the majority party is in controlling that calendar and really controlling the discussion. So it's tough. I mean, we're in the minority. We can, pitch, scream, run the clock. We can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, every single bill comes down to a vote. And so unless you can flip 6 of those Ds to your side, it's, we just don't have the vote down there.
All right, well, tell me, are you from Colorado, by the way?
I'm born and raised in Greeley.
Okay, so you've seen Colorado change.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of us that are natives look at this state and are very frustrated with the direction it's going. But the electorate keeps putting Democrats in office. They want more of this. For whatever reason, they're like, you know what? I want my taxes raised. I want more crime. How do we turn this state around?
I feel like there is a path. And I know a lot of people talk in frustration about, and I'm frustrated too about the direction, but I do feel like there's a path. I feel like we can achieve a check and balance within the Senate and the House in the state of Colorado. The 26 election cycle is providing an opportunity for us to really gain some seats back and really be that check and balance that the state legislature was designed to be. Yeah, it's been frustrating to see this change from my childhood through now. I feel like our political system in Colorado has been hijacked. And I feel like the time for that hijacking is nearly run its course. And so it's time to claw those seats back, and I really feel like we can. A lot of the folks, I mean, if you look at Colorado, the registered voters, a fourth of them are Democrats, a fourth of them are Republicans, and there's a 50% in the middle that are unaffiliated. Where did those folks come from, and what are their core principles? I do feel like a good chunk of them have common sense and grew up in Colorado and understand what it means to be free, and what it means to not be overregulated, and what it means to be not controlled by your government. And I really feel that we can appeal to those things. We just have to speak in that language. There is a language that pushed them to unaffiliated. We need to work to gain those seats back, to gain those voters back, and I really feel like it's a lot closer than it seems right now.
Ooh, I want to follow up on that a little bit. Senator Bright, what message do you think that the Democrats are using that is resonating with voters? And conversely, what message do you feel that the GOP is missing by not connecting with voters? What would be your advice?
Yeah. So the Democrats are really hung up on hot button issues like the Second Amendment and abortion and the government providing so many free services to its constituents. I mean, it's easy to say that everybody gets this free. You get a free car. You get a free car. You get a free car. I mean,
Oprah.
People love that. So, and it's essentially buying votes. When it comes down to it, people need to be able to pay their bills, need to pay their utilities, need to be able to pay their mortgage, their rent, and cost of living is the issue that we saw in this last election cycle, and I believe that's what it will be going forward, is keeping a restraint on the government from overspending, like we heard from Senator Kirkmeyer a little bit earlier, and giving those Coloradoans the freedom, the liberty that they're looking for.
Now, Senator Bright, where do you think that cognitive dissonance occurs? Because it would make a lot of sense to come to someone and say, it would be great if you didn't have so many taxes taken out of your paycheck. It would be great that you would have this much extra money to spend with your family. But, as Jeff outlined, they keep voting for Democrats, and the Democrats are more about taking more of the tax dollars, especially things like Tabor refund. They want that so bad they can taste it. Where does that cognitive dissonance exist, in your opinion, where the voters seem to be okay with all of the extra taxes, despite the fact that it is hurting their ability to provide for the family?
So I believe the D voter will not associate increased taxes with the free stuff that they get, and so they're promised free stuff, and that is all. That's all they take to the bank.
It's the rich that need to pay more.
I mean, they just they want it free. They don't care who pays for it or how it's paid for, but what it does is it just drives up costs of everything for everybody else all the way around.
How do you think conservative candidates can go about connecting those dots for the Democrat voters? What is the message the GOP's been missing that they haven't been able to make that case so far, in your opinion?
And we need to connect on things that really affect people in Colorado. The fire issues that they use, that they really try to keep in the forefront. I mean, abortion is a constitutional right in Colorado. So why are we still having those discussions? Well, they want to bring it back in so that they can make us look bad, and they just want to change the subject consistently. So that's how they deflect, they redirect, and as long as we understand the game that they're playing, we can play it better.
That's Scott Bright. He's a state senator here in Colorado. You can follow him on X at Scott Bright for Sen. Scott Bright for Sen. All right. You get a chance to meet Jared Polis, state senator? You get to spend some time with Jarhead?
I haven't seen him this legislative session. What's interesting is, I felt like that would be a little bit more prevalent during the legislative session, but he keeps to himself. He stays on either the first floor or somewhere out of the building, and so I never really saw him, and we're kind of stuck up on the second floor in that room to the south. So.
I think he's avoiding blame.
There's plenty on both sides of the aisle in the Senate that kind of can't stand what's going on the first floor.
All right, do you have a Democrat you particularly connected with? You go, all right, I disagree, but I I get along a little bit with you.
You know, we call it the back row. So it's those Democrats who absolutely refuse, the Democrat senators that refuse to sit on the left side of the room because of some of the crazies that sit over there.
Yeah.
And so they want to sit over on our side of the room. And so it's fun to have conversations with them because, you know, they've got some common sense. I mean, they wouldn't be in the state legislature if they didn't run as a Democrat, but they have some common sense and we can pull some
Who
over.
has the most common sense, do you think?
Oh, boy. You know, this is going to get quoted later, I'm sure, and used against
We got
me.
Jason Salzman in the Colorado Times Recorder here. So
Start recording now.
I mean, the typical more moderate D's in the back row. Dylan Roberts, we'll find him on our side quite frequently, as well as Kyle Mullica. We'll find Senator Snyder from Colorado Springs on our side. There's a few others that we can pull over occasionally on some issues, and so really got to just work on gaining 6 of those. And like I say, in the 26 election cycle, we're 6 seats away from having a majority, and that's only 6 seats.
Yeah.
And if you look at the seats that are competitive in the 26 cycle, there's 8 of them. And the Republicans only have 1, and the Democrats have 7. So worst case scenario, what does that mean? That means worst case scenario, we could lose 1. Worst case scenario for them is they could lose 7, right? And all we need is 6.
Lose the majority.
They can lose the
entirely.
majority right there.
Wow. That's
So I
that's
feel like there's a
optimistic.
path.
Do you think they're just going to keep taking our guns?
So they'll keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away. That's why we need to get back to that balance in the Senate so that we can have those common sense discussions. Because right now it's really hard to pull 6 Ds to our side. It doesn't matter how long we argue. It doesn't matter how many protests we have. It doesn't matter if we have 700 people show up to witness. They still have the votes.
That's
and so
exactly right. And
until we can gain those votes back, I mean, it's going to continue to go this way.
Who's going to be the new Senate Minority Leader, you think?
Well, Cleve Simpson has done a great job as Assistant Minority Leader.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's kind of been groomed to step through this process and be there. So I have a feeling that Cleve will gain the votes in that process. I think we're voting on that tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys are pretty united as a bloc.
Yeah, it's, we have a great core of senators. We all stand up for each other. We all have that same message and that same motivation, and so really excited to work with these guys and girls. They're awesome. It's an awesome team, and I couldn't be more proud to have them.
We just got to give them the majority, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's
That's
Senator
the big lift.
Scott Bright. Give him a follow. He's a bright new star in the state Senate.
I can't believe you did that.
There
Good
you
job.
go. Joe Arvada. At least I got him.
That's fantastic.
That sounds like,
Oh,
wow.
that's fantastic. Wow,
Good
Dad.
job.
Good job, Dad joke.
Senator, we know you got a busy
Good to see
day.
you.
Thank
It's
you,
okay.
sir,
Yeah.
for taking time to
Yep.
come and meet with our
Yes,
listeners,
thank you
hanging
so
out with
much.
us, and getting to know you better.
Yeah, really
So
appreciate it.
Continue
and,
to follow this guy. I got a good sense
Yeah.
this guy's going places. So
And the
give him
fact
a follow.
that he's coming out of early childhood education gives me a lot of hope here. I think that gives you a perspective that not a lot of lawmakers have, and you have seen a need in the community that many people don't understand on a ground level. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
And having that voice, firsthand experience on the floor when those discussions are happening. A lot of folks in the early childhood world, as well as on the D side, did not expect someone with an R next to their name to come out of that field.
Yes.
And so they're not sure what to do with that. Right?
I know. That's what I
how
like
to
the
take
most about you. Honestly, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
I love that.
Half of Bill's family
Yes,
was in
I love that.
education.
I love that.
Well, the vice chair of the Colorado Republican Party resigned yesterday. What happened? Well, Hugo Chavez-Reyes is going to give us the insight. Next, you're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Hey, you're not the boss of me. We got John Corbliss and we got Adam back at the station running stuff for us, and we're over here chatting, and Mr. Q's coming back. And so the nice thing is that John is like, hey guys, sometime today. So everybody out here at IHOP at 104th and I-25
you'll never
heard
guess
that.
who I'm like over having a ball with Jason
Yeah,
Salzman,
you are. Oh my God.
who runs Colorado
Yep.
Times Recorder.
Yeah, Colorado Times Recorder. I'm hanging out with Brian from Arvada, our caller all the time.
Jason's giving me some heartburn, but I'm having fun with
Dude,
him.
over there, if you look over here on the patio, this is the kind of thing that you come and join Jeff and Bill when we go out live, when they let us out of the studio, when finally, the court orders have exhausted, that we're out in public again. You come out and you hang out with us here at 104th and I-25 at IHOP. Not only do we have some amazing $7.10 breakfast options for you right over there in the corner, you've got Joe from Arvada and Brian from Arvada having a conversation. The two regular callers through long time callers on the show.
You know that thing in CERN, Switzerland, where the collider.
Yes, the collider.
Right?
Yes. What it is, yeah.
Now you got Brian and Joe.
Going around. It's going to be great. I know.
It's beautiful.
But where else do you get stuff like this? Yeah, and they're hanging over there with Scott Bright
Great
as well.
friend of
this
the
is cool.
program, and I got to sit in between the two.
Yes, you do.
Guys, but
otherwise, we're going to go all protester, kicking people in the back and stuff.
Ray is here. The Hispanic Patriot Podcast, Colorado Hispanic Republicans, well known in the Republican circles. Decades of service to the Republican Party here in Colorado. Hugo, thanks for being here, man. It's good to have
thanks
you.
a lot for Jim.
Vice Chair of Denver County.
Are you Vice Chair of the Denver County Republicans? Oh, great. So yesterday news comes out that the Vice Chairman of the Colorado Republican Party has resigned. And boy, oh boy, was this quite a statement. Not happy with the current chair. He writes, he says, effective immediately, I'm tendering my resignation as Vice Chair of the Colorado Republican Party. This is Darrell Felon. In the 72 days since the election, I have been systemically sidelined and deliberately ignored by our chair. That'd be Britta Horn, who came to one of our live protests.
Yes.
Or live protests.
And live broadcast.
Live broadcast.
And got served a lawsuit.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I know.
Like while she was sitting next to me. This is
while we were on the air. I know.
Britta was sitting right next to me, and Darcy Shannon serves him a lawsuit. Serves her a lawsuit.
So just a fair warning, Hugo, you could have a lawsuit by the end of this.
Gosh.
All right.
It's always, there's a Maury Povich element to this. And speaking of that, Colorado Times Recorder's in the house. So despite repeated requests, he writes, to contribute to the strategy and policy discussions, my only input has been to facilitate the dismissal of her lawsuit and to endorse the hiring of her affiliates. According to her, I am to be seen, not heard, and that is unacceptable. I cannot, in good conscience, continue to lend my name or reputation to an organization whose leadership refuses genuine collaboration with the State Central Committee. We have merely swapped one figurehead for another, and the dysfunction has only deepened under this new regime. My highest loyalty is to our principles and to the voters we serve. I will not underpin a power structure that rejects accountability and mutual respect. Thank you to the dedicated volunteers, county chairs, and committee members who work tirelessly for our cause. I remain committed to conservative principles in Colorado, but I must now pursue them outside an organization that has lost its collaborative spirit. All right, Hugo, I believe you sit on the State Central Committee for the Colorado Republican Party. Is that right?
Central Committee and the Executive Committee.
Okay, so you are in the room for some of these big discussions. Tell us what's going on.
Well, the announcement took me totally by surprise, and the language in his resignation statement is kind of interesting. Notice that he used the word regime to describe the new leadership rather than administration. I knew there was some rumblings going on. He was basically absent from the whole party for the first month of the new administration. Had a pre-planned 30-day jaunt back over in the Far East. I think Japan is where he went. Had something to do with his anniversary, so that's fine. But when you sign up for a job like that, number one, you should be ready to go day one. And
it's a big commitment.
Hit the road running and get the party's legs under it and basically advance, the agenda that they had in mind. As you know, on our side of the fence, we lovingly call them the coup crowd because of what they perpetrated last summer. So I was very surprised to see the statement, and even more surprised to see that there was a rift between him and Britta.
They ran as a slate, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
And I don't get into the weeds on the party discussions, all that stuff. I'm happy to have everybody on the show. Britta's always welcome on the show as well.
You just want them to win.
That's
all you want.
Democrats
That's
to
all
stop
you want. Yeah, you just want the win.
State. So, from what I understood, you had Darcy Shanning, you had Lori Sane, you had Britta, a number of other folks, but Britta put together a slate that included this vice chair. I've never met Darryl Fallon, but they show up, they get the win. Is it supposed to be a united front going into the leadership? And we're only, 2-3 months removed from this thing?
Yeah,
it's already falling apart?
Besides Darryl Phelan, resigning, you also had the treasurer resign. I think it was about 2 weeks into the new term. And so there's a lot of turmoil going on. Britta has made some unilateral decisions and announcements, one of them being the reporting to the FEC. That's supposed to be quarterly, and they elected to report only biannually, so twice a year instead of what's that all about? This group has always been preaching unity and transparency, and I've seen none of it, and that includes what took place last night at the executive committee meeting.
What happened last night?
Well, the agenda item was the budget. We didn't get a budget. What we got was a PowerPoint presentation by the new executive director, which was well done and fine, but if you're going to vote on a budget, you should have the budget. And the other thing was that they made a decision to not send the budget to the executive committee members ahead of the meeting, which is typical.
So they can review it,
So
right?
you can review it and then discuss it properly.
Wow.
No, they said because they were concerned about leaking out sensitive information. So what do they
What's
do?
sensitive about a budget?
Well, here's the kicker. Last night,
especially if you're the ones in charge of approving it, right?
Yeah. So last night we had the Zoom meeting, which is how they're doing their executive committee meetings, and what do? They allow guests to log in. Now, guests aren't allowed to speak or vote or do anything, but they're allowed to observe, right? So if they're telling me that they're afraid an executive committee member is going to leak information to the general public, then why would you allow guests into the meeting to watch the entire process? And even before the meeting was over, somebody was texting me, they're already posting this on social media. So much for the concern about sensitive information. So
you guys didn't pass a budget.
Oh, it got passed, but let me get you to how it happened.
Yeah.
I made a motion that it was okay to discuss the budget last night, but that we shouldn't vote on it until we've had time. We, being the executive committee, have had time to digest it and formulate some, questions that we might have.
Yeah.
So by rule, the budget doesn't need to be approved until July the 15th. So we've got a month, right? So why not give us the document to study, and at the next meeting we can vote and discuss. Well, it was a split vote, and then there was something very nefarious that kind of upset me. Finally, we got to my motion, and the vote was taken, and it was 11-10 in our favor. Well, the chair accepted the vote, and then she seemed struck because she had lost the vote, and she looks at Greg Carlson.
Britta?
Yeah. Britta looks at Greg Carlson, the parliamentarian, and says, "So where do we go from here?"
Yeah.
and the parliamentarian goes, "Well, you can discuss it further or move on." And so Richard Holtorf, who's one of the members, jumps on and says that the vote is taken. We voted to not approve it tonight. So let's discuss a date from when we can come back and have a vote. And he was talking a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, somewhere in there, giving time for everybody to look it over.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one of the members jumps in and said, "How did you record my vote?" Now this is afterwards.
Yeah. Now that we know the results,
Yeah.
I'd like to go back.
So here's what happens. So the parliamentarian allows this person to change their vote and flip it from 11-10 no to 11-10 yes.
Ooh.
Okay? And then they were talking about following procedure.
Yeah.
I said, the vote was taken.
Yeah.
You lost the vote. My motion passed. And now you're flipping it and going back. Well, he said, the chair didn't formally accept the... and I said, what does it take? A Gettysburg speech to accept the vote? She clearly stated, okay, after he announced 11-10 no, and she paused for a minute. Because she was struck. She didn't believe what had taken place, and she looks at the parliament. So where do we go from here?
Yeah.
To me, that's an acceptance that they had lost.
Right. So we've got to get to a break here. So where did it fall? Or are they going? Did they approve the budget then?
They did. They did approve it because
with a tie vote.
No.
Oh, it went to 11 the other way.
They flipped
11,
the vote.
10. That's right. Oh my goodness.
Geez.
All right, Hugo Chavez Reyes with us. He's the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, also vice chair of the Denver County Republicans, and he's with the Colorado Hispanic Republicans. We'll continue this conversation. Who's going to be the new vice chair? That's what I'm interested in with the Colorado Republican Party. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. We're doing a live broadcast at the IHOP off of I-25 and 104th up here in North Glen. We've had people coming by all morning.
Yes.
It's been wonderful. Major political figures.
And now we have
Senator
milkshakes. Now we have milkshakes.
I know. I'm
All
going to let you pick.
Do you want Oreo or strawberry? What are you thinking there?
You pick, brother.
I'm having strawberry.
That
I'm a strawberry
looks
guy.
Great.
I'm doing
I'll
strawberry.
take the Oreo.
Now, do you want the burger or the chicken Florentine? What do you want there?
I don't.
I'm giving you because. What do you want?
Gosh, I want to go. Well, I don't know. What do you want?
Come on. No, you. I asked you
All right,
first.
I'll take the burger.
Okay, burger. Then I'm doing the chicken Florentine. All righty, that's a deal. We'll do that in a sec.
So we're eating like kings at the
Yeah, we
IHOP up here. Hugo's having fun. Hugo Chavez raised with us. The vice chairman of the Colorado Republican Party resigned. By the way, we're going to be up here for another hour, so swing by if you like.
Swing on by.
If you're near northern part of Denver, come say hi to us.
104th and I-25. We got a breakfast special for you. We've got lots of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots of good food. Now, Hugo, we only got about 2 minutes left until the top of the hour, but vice chair of the Colorado Republican Party resigns. Who's going to be the next vice chair, you think?
Well, there's some interesting characters that have already popped up. Jeremy Goodall is one. Darcy Shaning is another, and a couple of others that I have not heard their names before, so I don't know that much about them. So there's going to be there has to be another central committee meeting in order to elect.
And they'll determine. The central committee will determine.
Yes, it'll be a central committee meeting vote that will determine the vice chair. And I'm guessing they're going to try to combine the meeting with the opt-out vote issue.
Okay.
So kill two birds with one stone, because otherwise you'd have to have a venue for two events instead of one. So that's what's coming up. It has to be done. She has to announce the meeting within 10 days now of yesterday, and then the meeting has to take place within 30 days of that announcement.
Is there anyone you'd like to see be the new vice chair?
I don't want to tilt the waters, but I do have a favorite in the thing so far. I like Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's a friend, and
what's Jeremy's last name?
Goodall.
Jeremy Goodall.
He ran during the election at the the Central Committee meeting back in March, and but Jeremy is a good patriot. He's conservative. He's got the right ideas, and I think he would be a good counterbalance to Britta Horn, to be honest with you.
All right, Hugo, tell us about your podcast.
Well, the podcast airs on Thursdays between 6 and 7 p.m. If you can't catch it live, then we will have, all our episodes are on YouTube, Rumble, X, and we're working on getting a couple more platforms.
And that's the Hispanic Patriot Podcast.
The Hispanic Patriot Podcast. I wanted to give one quick shout out or plug, basically, to an event that we're planning. So save the date for August the 12th.
Right.
And we're going to be announcing all the details of that here in the next week or two. And it's going to be an exciting event. So if it's going to take place in Colorado Springs, so if you can make it, great. But we will be live streaming it as well. Yeah. So it's going to be a great event, and we're looking forward to getting the message out to the people.
Now, Hugo, I spent a lot of time yesterday with people that said Donald Trump's kicking brown people out of this country.
Yeah, Jeff wants to know when you're leaving. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I couldn't let that hang. Couldn't help myself.
Oh, we're out of time. I wish we had more time to talk about this. But, I love Hugo. I've known Hugo for well over a decade, since I first got here. Great guy.
Yeah, Hugo and I disagree, but I love him.
Listen to his podcast, the Hispanic Patriot Podcast. Thank you for swinging by.
He's a great dude.
Today.
Thank you for having me.
You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
710 KNUS.